So, everybody, we do the bizarre news. And again, we're going to roll with this first heading here is Bizarre News, Dogman of Ohio. And again, everybody, 1972 to 2026. And this first news feed, Brandy, and everybody listening, is Dogman of the Ohio Dogman of 1972. And we're heading back more than 5 decades to a chilling series of encounters that some researchers now refer to as the Ohio Dogman Incident of 1972. The story comes from a quiet industrial town along the Ohio River Valley, where what begun as a strange sighting by two workers quickly spiraled into a wave of terrifying reports involving hunters, police officers, and terrified residents. What happened in the late summer of 1972 still remains unexplained. The first encounter, September 14th, 1972, Jackson County, Ohio. At approximately 10:40 p.m., two maintenance workers employed by the Ohio Power Company, Frank Mercer and David Collier, were finishing late night repairs on a utility access road outside the small community of Oak Hill. The men had parked their truck along a wooded service road just off of State Route 279, surrounded by the dense Appalachian. Is it Appalachian or Appalachian? How do you say that?
You said it right the first time. Appalachian.
Appalachian forest.
Yes.
According to Mercer, something moved in the tree line. At first, I thought it was a bear, Mercer later told local reporter Harold Denton of the Jackson Herald. But then the thing stood up, and I swear to God it was standing like a man. Collier described hearing heavy footsteps crunching through the leaves before the creature stepped partially into the light of their truck's headlights. The two men claimed they saw a massive wolf-like animal walking upright on two legs, easily 7 feet tall, with dark, shaggy fur and long arms that hung down near its knees. Collier later recalled it had the head of a wolf, but the body shape of a man, shoulders wide like a football player, and its eyes caught the headlights, yellow, glowing like dogs. The creature reportedly let out a deep growl that Mercer said he felt vibrating through his chest. Both men immediately jumped into the truck and sped away. There was a second sighting just 3 nights later on September 17th. Another witness came forward. Robert Bobby Latham, a 19-year-old hunter from Wellston, reported encountering a similar creature while bow hunting near Salt Creek State Forest. Latham told investigators he first noticed the woods had gone completely silent. No crickets, no birds, nothing. Latham said during a 1973 interview with paranormal researcher Gerald Hayes, "Then I heard something breathing behind me. Loud." When he turned, Latham claims he saw a tall, dark figure standing upright between two oak trees roughly 40 yards away. It stepped forward and I saw the snout, like a wolf, but it was standing up. Latham, thank you, Sir Brian Bowden. Latham dropped his bow and ran. He later told authorities he could see something running behind him, matching his pace through the woods for nearly 200 yards before suddenly stopping. Panic in Oak Hill starts. Within 2 weeks, local authorities logged 7 additional reports from residents in surrounding communities. Descriptions were remarkably similar. Witnesses reported large upright canine creature, height estimated between 6.5 and 8 feet, dark brown or black fur, yellow or amber reflective eyes, a long snout, and pointed ears, walking primarily on 2 legs. One of the most compelling reports came from Margaret Hensley, a school bus driver who claimed to see the creature crossing Colton Road on September 26th. As you can see, these are all bunched with all, you know,
Mhm.
together. It crossed the road in two strides, Hensley said. I slammed the brakes thinking it was a man in a coat. Then I saw the snout and tail. She described the animal turning his head toward the bus, revealing large canine teeth. Revealing large canine teeth before disappearing into the woods. There was an ongoing police investigation. By early 1972, the Jackson County Sheriff's Office began quietly looking into the claims. Deputy Carl Brenner, who responded to several reports, admitted in a later interview that something unusual was occurring. We had people who were not the we had people who were not the type to make things up, Brenner said. Hunters, truck drivers, farmers, all describing the same thing. Brenner reported finding large canine tracks near one sighting, a location along Raccoon Creek. However, the prints measured nearly 9 inches long and were spaced far apart, suggesting an unusually large animal. Local wildlife officers initially suspected an escaped exotic wolf or a hybrid dog, but they could not explain the consistent reports of the creature walking upright. The railroad, perhaps the most frightening account, occurred on October 11th, 1972, involving two employees of the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad. Track inspectors Leonard Greer and Sam Castillo were traveling slowly along a maintenance line near Vinton Furnace State Forest when their spotlight illuminated something near the tracks. Greer later described the moment. It looked straight at us, standing upright beside the rails. Castillo added, the head was like a wolf, but the shoulders were massive. It wasn't hunched over like an animal, it stood like a man. The creature reportedly ran alongside the slow moving rail cart for nearly 20 seconds before veering into the forest. Greer estimated its speed at 30 miles per hour. Researchers take note by the mid 1970s, the strange events had attracted the attention of regional cryptozoologists. One of the earliest investigators was Dr. Malcolm Ridgway, a folklorist a folklorist from Ohio State University who studied Appalachian monster legends. Ridgway noted that similar stories existed throughout the Midwest. The descriptions clearly resembled what Michigan folklore calls the Dogman. Ridgway wrote in a 1976 field report, an upright canine predator report in the forests of the Great Lakes region. Ridgway believed the 1972 sightings could represent an unknown species of large predatory mammals, though he admitted physical evidence was lacking. Strangely enough, Brandy, by November of 1972, the report stopped. No additional
Mhm.
encounters were officially documented.
Mm.
Some locals believe the creature moved deeper into the remote forests of southern Ohio. Others thought it might have been killed by hunters, though no body was ever recovered. A deputy Brenner says something was out there that fall, whether it was a wolf, a bear, or something we didn't understand. People saw it. Interest in the case has grown again in recent years. This is the longest one of them. I'm sorry. Cryptid researcher Daniel Kessler, who revisited the case in 2021, interviewed surviving witnesses and reviewed sheriff's records. Kessler told paranormal podcast host Lisa Andrade what stands out in the consistency of the descriptions across dozens of witnesses who don't know each other. He believes that the 1972 incident may represent one of the earliest modern waves in the United States. And of course, the mystery remains today. The forests surrounding Oak Hill, Ohio, remain thick, remote, and sparsely populated. Locals still occasionally whisper about strange howls echoing through the hills at night. Whether the 1972 encounters were a misidentified animal a mass panic, or something far stranger. No one truly knows.
Hmm.
Yeah. I tell you, it's a lot to unpack. There's a lot. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that was so long, but hey,
Uh,
it is what it is.
yeah, it's fine. I don't know. I mean, most times when sightings of dogmen are sketched after the fact or things like that, they're not standing up like a human. They are more hunched, and I think that maybe because they do run on all fours at times. So I don't know about that story, and I'm thinking maybe it did at one time, but as the story spread, we know how that goes, and all these other people, oh yeah, I saw that too. Oh yeah, I saw that too. And then all of a sudden it wasn't interesting anymore. So everybody's like, just like, whatever,
You know,
it's over. It's over. So let's just not talk about it anymore. It's over. Um, I don't know, but I do. I think the part about the train is very interesting because I know that the people who operate those trains and everything see a lot of stuff. Um, there's got to be stuff out there that they're seeing that we're not. Or are they not tell anybody? I mean, because think about this. We talk about pilots and things who see UFOs and we say, what are the pilots seeing? They've got to see something. Well, now all of that video is coming out, so we're seeing a lot. I wonder if they could do that on a train, like tuck a camera like right up front so we can see what's happening.